Hi guys, so I have been in the US for, let me check the date, it's the 22nd of March, so just over a month, and honestly it's been the craziest month of my life. I feel like it's not even felt like a month, it's literally felt like I've been here for like 6 months already, and not in a bad way, just like the amount of stuff that's happened is wild. I could literally write a book on how we've got to where we are now. It's been crazy, it's been a lot. I feel like there's nothing that could have prepared me for everything that's happened in the last month or so. The whole moving to a different country is crazy on its own, but then when you add the pressure of like the US immigration process and like finding an apartment, not having a job, you know, like getting married, all of those things, when you know you have, because you're not working, you have limited funds, and it's just so stressful. I can't even tell you how stressful it has been. Now, I know that not everyone's experience is going to be similar to mine, because my husband moved to a different state also, so he's figuring the whole living in another state as well as me, well, just living somewhere else as well as me, you know, like I've not moved to his house, we've both moved together and trying to figure everything out. So it's been crazy, but we're doing fine. I've got my 2 cats here with me. That whole process was nowhere near as stressful as I thought it was going to be, moving my cats here, but they're here. They've helped me so much in terms of just like missing home and just keeping me distracted, I guess, when like times are getting a little bit tough. So my first video that I wanted to film once I moved here was the whole like filing the AOS forms, other forms that go alongside it or can go alongside it. Okay, so the forms that I filed with the adjustment of status was the application for employment authorization and the application for advanced parole. Now, you don't have to file for those things, but it's advised, because when you file alongside AOS you don't have to pay an additional amount. So it's just kind of one of those things that you might as well do whilst you're doing the whole AOS filing thing. And also the forms are nowhere near as long as adjustment of status is, so it's just kind of worth doing, I think, in my eyes. Obviously I don't have the documents here with me because I filed on Sunday. It's currently Friday, so just at the end of last week. I can't really remember the answer to every single question, but I can give you advice on what documents to submit with the actual form. Obviously if I get any requests for additional evidence, I will put somewhere in this video that I've had a request for additional evidence, but from reading everyone's forms and seeing everyone's supporting documents for those forms online, this is kind of the general consensus of what to file with the forms, if that makes sense. So I'll go through the first form, which is the I-485 application to register permanent residence or adjust status. I filed each form with paper clips. So at the front of this section, I guess, I had my form G1450, which is the authorization for credit card transactions. Now, I know that the fees are changing soon, I think in April, so this is why, another reason why I really wanted to get AOS sent off as soon as possible, because I don't want to pay the new fees, which are quite a lot more than what they currently are when I had filed this off. So at the time of filing this, I had to pay $1,225, which is $1,140 filing fee, and then $85 for the biometric fee. Now that was the front page of everything, was the authorization for credit card transactions, because they're not going to even look at anything if they've not seen that you're paying for the form. So that was right at the front. Then I've got the form G1145, which was the e-notification of application. Basically, when they receive the application, if you have this in within your forms, they will notify you with any sort of stages that the application is at, I guess. If you don't have to include that, but it's again free, so you might as well. So then I had the form I-485, and then after that, for each form I included form I-797, receipt notice for I-129F petition, and then the notice of approval too. I don't really know if these things were necessary, I just saw that a lot of people were including them, so I just kind of thought it's, I guess, evidence of just the whole like K1 process, I guess. It's just more supporting documents that might help your case and make things a little bit quicker for the person that's going through everything. And then for each form I included my birth certificate, a copy of my birth certificate, not the actual one, a copy of my passport biographic page, a copy of my K1 visa page after I arrived, and for this particular one, particular form, I included the form DS 3025, which is the vaccination documentation worksheet, which you should have got at your medical exam. Then for each form, again, I included the I-94 arrival departure record, which you will receive upon arrival. I'm not actually too sure how long this takes to generate, but I don't think it takes that long. I checked mine probably like a couple days after I arrived. Excuse me. I checked this a couple of days after I arrived and it was all like online, so it doesn't take too long. And then I have a copy of my marriage certificate, and then for this particular form I included a screenshot of household liabilities, which was basically student loan, because that was one of the questions in the form. And then for each form again, they wanted 2 passport style photos, 2" by 2", which I had actually taken prior to moving to the US in the UK, like just before I'd left. And then within this pack, within like the paperclip, I included the form I-864 affidavit of support, which is written out or completed by my husband. For this form we provided a copy of the petitioner's passport biographic page, a copy of IRS transcripts, a copy of form W2 and a copy of form 1040, and they were all 2021, 2022 and 2023. Now I don't think you have to include 3 years worth of evidence, but there was like a checkbox within the form that said you've included years prior, kind of a thing, so we checked that, and it's just more supporting documents. And I know that when you're filling out this form you want as much as possible so that everything's streamlined and easy as possible for them to read and interpret. We then provided a copy of letter from employer, which was just for this form, and then the same again as all the other forms, copy of I-94 arrival departure record and a copy of marriage certificate. And then I saw that quite a few people put some photos as evidence of relationship, so we put that within this pack just photos over the last couple of years, and then also a picture that was taken on our wedding day. So I will include a screenshot of the contents page that I used for the form, and I'll pop it on screen. But I do just want to say that this has not been approved yet, or I've only just sent it off, so I don't want someone to follow this to a T without a disclaimer to say that I may have needed to provide more evidence or something like that. So I just want to give you guys a heads up that I'm not saying that this is completely correct. This is just what I filed for my AOS. So that was 2 forms. So that was the I-485 and then the I-864. The reason I kept them together was because I saw that a lot of other people online were, and I also think that they kind of go hand in hand, whereas the other documents I'm about to talk about are additional and you don't necessarily need to file them alongside AOS. It's all very confusing, I know, and it's a lot and it's overwhelming. I'm just trying to explain this as best as I can, so I apologise if there's any confusion. Okay, so the next form that I filed with those forms was the I-765 application for employment authorization and supporting documents. So again, for this particular form, I put like a e-notification of application at the front. Then I have the form, and then I have all the supporting documents. So for this one, I included the receipt notice for I-129F petition, notice of approval, birth certificate, passport biographic page, K1 visa page, I-94 arrival departure record, copy of marriage certificate, and the passport style photos. There's just a lot a lot of documentation for this whole process, but it is what it is. So the next form is, and the final form, you'll be glad to know, is the I-131 application for travel document, advanced parole and supporting documents. I'm literally just reading what I've written on the contents page for each form. So the documents I have enclosed are the e-notification of application, again at the front. I have the form and then all the supporting documents, and it's literally the same as the other one. So the receipt notice for I-129F petition, the notice of approval, birth certificate, passport biographic page, K1 visa page, I-94 arrival departure record, copy of marriage certificate, and the passport style photos. And that is it. I say that is it like I've said like 2 things. There's a lot there. I can completely acknowledge that it's an overwhelming amount of preparation and filling out forms, because I spent all of last week doing it, and honestly I just wanted it to be sent off. Like, it was so exhausting going through those forms over and over and over and over again. I will say the worst form to complete is the not the affidavit of support, the AOS. It's just long, and yeah, it's just long. It's not necessarily difficult to complete, it's just long. As far as everything else, it's just making sure, all the documentation is there and neatly prepared. I'm trying to think of some tips that I would have liked to have heard last week when preparing this. I think the only things I would advise are maybe go over everything in pencil first. That's what I did before I left England. I went through the forms in pencil and filled them out as best as I could before I came here, and then went over everything in pen. Thank God I did, because there were a couple of questions that I'd answered wrong and I was just able to rub them out. Another thing is to use paper clips, don't staple everything. I made the mistake of stapling everything, and then I saw a lot of people say online that they don't like this because they scan everything through and it just makes things potentially longer for you to wait. So yeah, use paper clips. Just make sure everything's readable. I put my A number on top of each page of the supporting documents because I just thought if anything gets lost or anything like that, my A number's at the top so they can find what name is associated with the number, if that makes sense. And yeah, just go through everything super slowly, don't rush it. I know that it's one of those things that when you hear, you just want to get sent off, but honestly, if you rush it, it's just going to be way more stressful and you'll most likely get a request for more evidence if you make mistakes. But other than that, at this stage, I don't have any more advice to give. I would just say take your time with each form and try to get advice on completing a certain question. If you have any sort of concern or doubts about your answer, just make sure to do some research before just like winging it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I know it's a lot and it's quite a grueling process, but honestly, so many people do it and it's fine. So yeah, I will definitely keep you posted and let you know sort of as and when I hear things. I really hope that I get an e-notification sometime soon. I know that they have received it already because I tracked the parcel. It's just, yeah, a waiting game now to find out a little bit more information about the whole thing. So yeah, I wish you all the best of luck when completing the forms and on this whole AOS journey. I hope any of you that's recently moved are settling in well. I know this is a very difficult time for so many reasons, whether that be you can't work yet and you just feel that lack of independence, whether you can't drive yet, you know, like you're in a new place with maybe not so many friends as you did at home, you're missing your family. Like it's hard, like moving to another country despite being with your significant other, it's super hard. And I just hope that your partner is supporting you in all the ways that they can, and just know that the negative feelings that you may be feeling associated with living in the States after this whole journey is not like abnormal. There are so many people that feel the same things because I've seen so much love and support on the Facebook groups, and you're not alone. I just want everyone to know that it's normal to have felt so desperate to be here, and then once you're here, that feeling of just like maybe it not quite being as you expected just because you can't work yet, you know, like you're still in the whole process and it's going to take months and months before you've adjusted and got used to life here. But yeah, I wanted to just put a little disclaimer there that if any of you are feeling low or feeling a bit confused about any like feelings that you're feeling, it's so normal and so many people are also going through the same thing. I'm gonna leave it there because I feel like I've gone on for so long. I guess stay tuned. I will update you as and when I hear anything, and yeah, good luck on this journey. I will speak to you soon.